politics of war during a speech on America's role in Afghanistan last night. President Obama emphasized this.
We must rebuild our infrastructure and find new and clean sources of energy. And when our union is strong, no hill is too steep. No horizon is beyond our reach. America, it is time to focus on nation building here at home.
Now, some of these troops will be coming home only months before America votes in 2012. Is this the start of the president's re-election campaign? Steve Hayes, senior writer for the Weekly Standard, also a Fox News contributor. Maria Cardona was a senior advisor to Senator Hillary Clinton and also a former communications director for the DNC. Great panel here. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Bill.
Steve, I know 30 fundraisers so far, and more expected later today in New York City. This is the East Room of the White House, a primetime address focused on the home front at a time when the economy continues to just batter people right and left. Is this the beginning of the campaign for 2012?
Well, I think his campaign actually began quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
This might be the most decisive foreign policy speech he's given leading into the campaign. I mean, this was something that he had promised his base when he gave the speech December 1st, 2009, where he surged troops into Afghanistan. The sop to the left, is what many people saw it as, was when he announced that he would be withdrawing some of the troops in July of 2011. We think it, a lot of us thought it caused problems on the ground in Afghanistan for our uniformed military, for our diplomats, for our intelligence operators, because they had a tougher time getting cooperation from Afghans, from people on the ground who could provide them intelligence. But the president, I think, made a decision way back then that politics mattered in this and that he was going to begin the withdrawal, and I think we saw him follow through on that last night.
That whole phrase about focus here on home, I think a lot of people might want to hear that, Maria. But based on policies, are they buying it?
Well, I think so. And to your point, Bill, this was not the start of his re-election campaign. I agree with Steve that actually has started quite some time ago. But in terms of the economics of this is not the first time that the president has focused on the economy. In fact, it was his focus when he first came into office during a month when we were losing almost 800,000 jobs a month. He has been a steadfast economist in terms of ensuring that we do everything that we can to get our economy going. What he did last night was really lay out what has been done in Afghanistan from the time that he announced the troop surge to now, and in the fact that we have actually met the objectives in terms of reversing the Taliban momentum, reversing Al-Qaeda's power. We've killed 20 of 30 leaders, including Osama bin Laden, and training the Afghan security forces.
And now the debate goes on.
He has made that commitment, and he's done it.
Whether or not this is the time to signal a withdrawal or draw down. You know what I thought was fascinating? The range of reaction from last night's speech, whether it was on the left or on the right, whether it was some of these presidential candidates on the Republican side, Steve, whether it was Admiral Mike Mullen. Petraeus was not mentioned in the speech last night. What did you make of the reaction?
Well, we know that David Petraeus offered a range of options. The president's advisors have said this, but this is not what David Petraeus wanted. This is not what General Allen, who's coming to replace David Petraeus, wanted. It's really not what any commanders on the ground wanted, and we found out this morning on Capitol Hill that it's not what Mike Mullen wanted. I was actually a little surprised to hear Mike Mullen say that the president chose the most aggressive or a more aggressive and risky venture than he was originally prepared to accept. Those are strong, strong words from the president's top uniformed military advisor.
His exact quote, more aggressive and incur more risk than I was originally prepared to accept. And now he has to, Maria.
But he also said that he does support what the president said last night, so let's be clear about that. In addition to that, the range of the options that Petraeus gave to him, what the president announced last night, falls within that range. So let's be clear about that as well.
Okay.
So yes, the president certainly made a decision based on what his commitment was when he announced the surge. He needs to look at this from a broader standpoint than just what is going on the ground.
Yeah.
So yes, he listened to his commanders, but he's got to take a much broader view about what our commitments are worldwide.
I've got some breaking news. I apologize, Stephen. You're going to say something. Make it quick.
But the president said when he announced this decision to surge troops that he would pay attention first and foremost to conditions on the ground. His commanders are telling him that the conditions are not right for this kind of a dramatic withdrawal.
No, he's done that.
History is going tell us all whether or not this is the right
He took
decision
the advice
or
of
not.
his commanders. It falls within the range of what
I wish I had
Petraeus
more
wanted.
time. I apologize. Great panel. Maria, thank you. Steve, thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Heather.